Hello everyone, today in this video we'll fight against the atmosphere of our world around us, and in this video I would like to discuss one problem that in last decades, especially last 2 decades, is really accelerating, and this deterioration of the intellectual level of our political and business elites is very well seen. For instance, it's enough to look at any debate in the mass media and compare it with the debates in similar situations that took place like 40, 50 years ago. Luckily, we have some archives of previous broadcasts, and now with the internet, such portals like YouTube or Rumble, it's easy to find archive broadcasts, and one can easily compare. So, first, what is shocking after one makes such comparison is that intellectual level and range of vocabulary, even it manifests in such basic things, this decrease of the level of the debate, even in the range of vocabulary that majority of participants are using during such discussions. It's drastically reduced in the last 20-30 years. And another thing is that level of emotional reactions, hysterical reactions, especially from the left side, when the leftists, especially young ones, are debating something, it's no longer the debate, it's just manifestation and aggressiveness directed towards their conversers, nothing else, and scream and explosion of negative emotions, of reluctance and even hate. This is what we are getting. That is why I was mentioning in my videos several times that, for instance, for France, I'm seeing a civil war approaching, but it's not a normal civil war. It's something similar to the religious war, like in the 16th century we had in France between Huguenots and Catholics. So it's really profound conflict with extreme brutality, because the issue of the conflict is the fundamental. This is the conflict about understanding of the fundamentals of life and fundamentals of basic beliefs. And leftists do not behave they do not behave any different than a really aggressive sect which is full of neophytes, and they are ready to defend their beliefs and attack anyone who is not sharing the same beliefs as they do. So we see that increased level of the fanaticism of quasi-religious, especially movements like leftist movements, and now when they are in defensive in many places, because we see that at the end of last year, example of United States is slowly propagating into other countries, and in some places leftist movements are also pushed back to defensive, so they are becoming even more aggressive. And this is unfortunately a very bad environment when such aggressiveness and level of fanaticism are increasing. This is very bad environment for any debate and any discussion. It cannot occur in such a situation any longer. That is why this is one of the main reasons why the level of the debate in mass media is so low, and it's getting lower and lower and lower. And we also see how primitive, especially on the left side, the politicians and leftist supporters are. Basic logic even doesn't work. But people like me who studied a little bit the leftist political thought, they know that one cannot expect any logic and consequence in behavior from the left, because they have something like this: the truth of the stage of the development of the so-called historical process. Of course, it's one big bullshit and Marxist lie, but many of them believe in the truth of the stage. That's why they can switch their mind from one side to another within a very short time. And currently we see how leftists in the Western Europe are attacking Israel, despite the fact that some years ago they were treating anything what Jewish people or Israel are doing, almost anything, as holy, and they didn't allow for any criticism towards them. Now left is the one of the main sources of anti-Jewish and anti-Israeli sentiment in especially Western Europe. And recently some leftist activists from other countries were detained on the water close to the Israeli coast by Israeli guards. So we have a manifestation of difficult love difficult love story between Israel and the left currently. This is love and hate relationship. I'm quite laughing, but it's typical leftist behavior that they can switch from one side to another without any warning. And this is also one of the reasons why the level of current debate is so low, and it's getting lower and lower. All the best, have a nice day, bye.